Alright, what is up, gamers? We're finally back with the next installment of my Life is Strange analysis. And today we'll be looking at the morality of the two endings to the game and which one is better. Spoilers, obviously, so be aware of that. The game is quite old, but if you still want to avoid spoilers, I would recommend not watching this video. Alright, preface, this is my opinion and perspective. A lot of this game is based around perspective and interpretation and how much you like certain characters and view the game. I will start off by explaining each ending. Ending number 1, sacrificing Chloe. The storm is about to hit Arcadia Bay and Chloe gives Max the ultimatum of either letting the storm hit or going back in time and letting Chloe die in the bathroom to stop the storm. She gives Max the picture of the blue butterfly in the bathroom. Max focuses in on the picture, goes back in time, and instead of intervening, she lets Chloe get killed by Nathan. Later on, we see Max at Chloe's funeral with a blue butterfly landing on her coffin. Ending number 2, sacrificing the bay, or the better ending, let's be honest. The storm is about to hit, and instead of taking up Chloe's sacrifice offer, she rips up the photo as they watch Arcadia Bay get destroyed. They later drive through the ruins of Arcadia Bay in Chloe's truck, finally leaving the town to who knows where. So each ending shows a different side of Max and the player. The ending and how it feels morally really will come down to your perspective. Choosing to sacrifice Chloe is the more utilitarian ending, meaning that this action leads to the greatest number of people ending up okay. Max sacrifices the most important person in her life and to an extent her happiness for the town to be okay and for everyone to end up happy, with Nathan and Jefferson ending up in jail. The sacrifice the bay ending is more selfish, but selfishness isn't inherently bad when we hear the word. Most people connotate selfishness to being mean and uncaring, but it's not entirely bad to act selfish. It's not like Max gets to save the town for free. She has to give up the most important person in her life, and no one can even acknowledge this sacrifice. I choose to sacrifice the bay basically every time, and here's my perspective on why. I feel as though given the circumstances, it isn't bad to choose your own happiness in that scenario. The universe randomly just says you, random 18-year-old photography student, have to choose between sacrificing your best friend or your hometown. I chose to save Chloe both as if I were Max and relating to real life. If it were me and my friends, I would choose them over the town. I don't think selfishness is inherently bad. It would be a hard choice for anyone to make it if it was your own friends or family. Sure, it is for the greater good, but what about your own happiness? Your happiness in life should matter just as much as the people in town. And genuinely being in the situation can change your opinion. You can see all the time on social media and such when it comes to, if you're in the rap social media, people always talk about snitching and such and will be like, oh, I would never snitch. But no one is ever really in the position where they're facing a very severe consequence if they do or don't. Being in the situation for real can change your perspective on something. I also like Chloe as a character both as Max and outside of the game, and it sucks knowing what happens to Chloe if you choose to sacrifice her. It's not just a hey Max, throw me off the cliff or anything, it means that week will never happen. This basically means Chloe is never worried that Max comes back to Arcadia Bay and she dies in the bathroom angry and alone in the world without any growth that she made over the week. Her sacrifice is not a heroic movie-esque sacrifice. It means she never grows out of her feelings and thinks that she's pretty much been abandoned her whole entire life. It means the last time she sees Max before she dies was when she was 13 at her dad's funeral, and I could not sacrifice her knowing this. That isn't to say that this ending that I prefer can fit everyone. Any utilitarian person would more than likely disagree with me, and there is an argument for the other ending as well. In the grand scale of people and community as a whole, sacrificing Chloe is obviously the better ending. One girl dying over an entire town getting ravaged very clearly has a numerical difference. I personally don't feel that way, but some people may feel as though that the greater good is more important than their feelings and people that they care about. Now that's not to say they don't care about their friends or family, but given the ultimatum, they prefer the lives of many over the lives of a few, no matter how important or close to them. It's the opposite of the sacrifice the bay ending, where it can be seen as selfish, but that doesn't mean that you or Max are uncaring and ignorant towards everyone else. It is also important to note that if you or believe that the storm are a result of Max's powers, it changes how the ending can feel. Canonically, they seem to believe that the storm is because of Max's powers, but some people don't agree. I don't think the storm is a result of her powers, given that the premonition of the storm happens before Chloe dies in the bathroom, and this changes the endings if you agree with that. This makes the sacrifice Chloe ending make her seem way more selfless. Instead of righting her wrongs in a sense, Max is basically saying, I'm going to let go of the most important person to me because fate says so, and following fate lets all of these other people who I don't even know get to live. Then it also makes the sacrifice the Bay ending more bold and fearless of Max, pretty much saying I'm not going to let some cosmic entity or fate guilt trip me into giving up my happiness and feeling responsible for everything bad that happens in the world, and saying that it's not my fault. Essentially, your viewpoint on the storm adds much more to each ending and specifically how it makes you or Max look. In all, I personally prefer the sacrifice the Bay ending and saving Chloe, but that is my perspective. And whichever ending you like is really based off of your perspective. It's hard to determine which one is morally correct when there's so many variables and interpretations that there is no real morally correct answer. With that being said, it's definitely saving Chloe, let's be honest. Alright, well boys, that wraps up yet another episode of a short Life is Strange analysis. There will definitely be more soon. We got lots of stuff on the way coming for you boys, and I'll see you gamers next time.